Hello everybody, it's Cat here, and welcome back to another Redstone video. So as you can see here, I have a lot of contraptions, and this machine is basically the basis of all of these machines. So I asked you guys on Discord what you guys wanted to see, and all of you guys voted for me breaking the game with Redstone. Just like you should hit that subscribe button, destroy it, absolutely break it like I'm about to break the game. Anyways, let's get right into what this is all about, and what all of these are about. So, as you can see here, if I pull this lever, this piston is going to be retracted, which is going to send a signal to this observer, which is going to send a signal to this piston. This piston is going to be powered and then retracted, which means that this observer is going to get two signals. Then that's going to send two signals to this piston, making it powered and retracted twice, which means this observer is going to get four signals. And you can see how this is going to work. So this is going to get one signal, this is going to get two signals, this is going to get 4 signals, 8 signals, 16, you know, it goes on forever. And that's basically the basis around this incredibly fast clock, is that it's going to keep getting faster and faster until it's literally as fast as possible. Now, there's probably more of a reason that has to do with zero ticking and all that kind of stuff, because as you can see, it's not that straightforward whenever I pull this lever. I don't really know the entire reasoning, but I do know it is getting faster and faster, and it is the fastest possible. So you guys can put your theories or thoughts on that in the comments. That's really all I have right now. So let's pull this lever and let's just see how fast it is. Yeah, that's very fast. So this is very simple. I mean, there isn't much of a point in putting this here. If you get this, you'll definitely get this. It's very straightforward. If you power this piston, it'll activate this observer, which will power this lamp. And you basically just need to know this, because I basically just combined these two things into this thing right here. So as you can see here, this uses the clock at the bottom. It's the exact same clock as this, but at the top here we have basically just this design right here. And what it's just doing is that every time the piston gets powered, this will detect it, and it's basically getting all of these redstone outputs and it's combining it into one line. So let me just go ahead and activate this. So as you can see, the redstone looks like it's just being constantly powered, and that's what I actually thought at first. You see, if I were to put a piston, if I can actually place a block here, if I were to put a piston here, it's being powered, which is what it looks like, but that's not actually what's happening, or at least not technically. Now let's replace this piston with something a bit louder and a bit more noisy, like a fence gate. So as you can see here, let me turn up the block noises. Sorry if this is very loud, but you can see here, it makes a lot of noise. Now if I were to put this here instead of the piston, you'll see, yeah, very clearly there is a lot of fence gate noises going on. That is not being constantly powered. That is for sure. That is being powered on and off very quickly. So what does this mean? This means that this piston isn't just being powered. No. It's being powered and unpowered so quickly that it just looks like it's being constantly powered. In fact, it doesn't just look like it. It's actually behaving like it. If I were to put a sticky piston here instead of a normal piston, you'll see that this block that's on top of the piston doesn't move at all. That's not just a visual glitch. That is actually not moving at all. This piston is moving so fast. It does the same thing as being constantly powered. This clock is so fast. It is such a fast clock that it's also the slowest clock. Get that in your head. Now, of course, I could also replace this with a note block, and, well, you get the point. It holds the note. Okay, so as you saw there, this basically combines all 4 of the redstone outputs into one redstone output that's very fast. But I thought, okay, how fast really is this? Now, it's impossible to measure all 4 of these outputs because, well, it's too fast. It's too fast to measure. But what I can do is I can destroy 3 of these and just leave 1 module. This means it'll be a 4th as fast as the actual contraption. So if I were to activate this, you can see this piston moves pretty quickly. And I actually thought this might even be as fast as the fastest current clock. So in order for you guys to understand how fast this clock is, I have to compare it to the fastest known clock right now. Now, I actually discovered this. I don't know if other people have found this out as well, but I just I was doing things and I found this out. So this looks much like a 0-tick clock, and it's actually the same concept. So basically, whenever I place a block here, this torch will power the block, which will then power this piston. Now, at the exact same time as this piston's being powered, this piston gets powered. And basically, when this piston goes on top of this piston realizes, wait, there's not a block here anymore because it's pushing the block. So what happens is it instantly retracts the block and puts it on this side. But then, this block does the exact same thing and retracts it to this side and does it over and over again. And you'll see a really weird visual glitch because it's being pushed side to side so quickly. It looks like it's only on one side, and it almost behaves like a solid block. And it's pretty insane. So let me just show you guys how fast this clock is. This is the fastest known clock. Before this one, let's just look at it. As you can see here, it's very weird, very glitchy. The pistons seem to be glitching out, as you can see. And this is how fast the piston moves if you take the output and put it into a separate piston. So of course, I need to compare this piston to this piston because that basically compares the two clocks, or at least 1/4 of this clock. So let's just go ahead and do that. So I place a block here, then I pull the lever here, and let me just try getting it to be synced. So as you can see here, this piston is actually slightly faster. You can barely tell. Now, one easy way to tell is that this one is glitching out a lot more. Another way, you can just look at it, and you can see that it is slightly faster. It's just so slightly that it doesn't really matter. So that means a lot. That means that this, only 1/4 of this module, or not 1/4 of this module, 1/4 of this machine is almost as fast as the fastest clock we knew before this. Meaning that this clock is about 4 times as fast as this one. That's absolutely insane. I mean, you'd think this is the fastest clock because basically it's transferring 2 blocks instantly. But this one, it uses a paradox, and I guess that just makes it so much faster. So what is this useful for? I mean, as you saw, this is almost unmeasurable because, well, it's just that fast. But as we know, this can be measured with sound. And that's exactly what we have here. You see, you can't hold a note block sound. What you can do is play it so quickly it sounds like it's being held. And that's exactly what this is. This is this exact machine, but with note blocks all around it. Let me turn down the note block sound so it doesn't break your ears. But you'll hear that this note seems to be held. There's 2 bats here. I can't actually flick the lever. I'm sorry. Okay, that's still very loud. Let me turn it down even more. So as you can hear, it sounds like the note's being held. Now, this could be really useful for a lot of things, especially note block songs, because right now, before this, they couldn't be held. The notes couldn't be held on note block, so, you know, you couldn't really get very accurate versions of a song, but now you can. It's not even that complicated, so it's very cool. So what is this useful for? I mean, we know that it's useful for making, you know, holding note block sounds or making lots of trapdoor noises, but what is it good for in the actual game? So here we have this system right here. All of these dispensers are filled with fireballs. So basically, as you know, this utilizes 4 modules. And all 4 modules are very fast, as you saw from this test here. But basically, all modules are super slightly off sync. So this module is slightly off sync from this one, which is slightly off sync from this one. We can actually utilize this. If we hook up 4 dispensers on each of the modules, these dispensers will go slightly off sync, meaning that it's basically 4 times faster altogether. So if I power this lever, as you can see, that's pretty insane. That is very fast. Now, what's better than this? Of course, having a lot more dispensers. Now, the funnest thing about Redstone is having destructive power. Oh boy, am I going to have destructive power. Not only to mobs and entities that walk in front of this thing, but to my computer, because if I unload these chunks without a player in them, it is going to be very laggy, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to sit here while this happens. Let's just go for it. Oh, what? This is insane. Look at how many fireballs there are. I might actually have to get ready. /kill@E, type equals !player command, which will kill all the fireballs, just in case something goes wrong. So, let's stand here and let's summon a giant. Oh, I'm in peaceful. Don't mind me. Don't mind me at all. So if I... Oh, it's lagging. Alright. If I summon a giant, look at how fast this thing is going to be taken out. Just look at this. I mean, look. Imagine sitting here and you see thousands of fireballs coming at you. Look, that giant's dead. That has 200 health. That has as much health as the Wither. Imagine standing here and there's just a hurricane of fireballs. I mean, this is a really good defense mechanism. Again, very laggy, but... I mean... Now, believe it or not, this has much more destructive power. As you can see, I have TNT in my hand. I'm not using this. I don't want to break... I've already... Look at this. Look at... I've already destroyed this map once. I don't need to do it again. But basically, you can replace the fireballs with TNT and essentially just create a nuke. Yeah. Or you could confine the TNT into one space and make a player launcher. I mean, just go wild with this. This is insane. No one should have this much redstone power. Now, I wanted to see if this clock is exactly as fast as I thought it was. If my theory is right that this clock is so fast, it's the same thing as just having a normal redstone signal powering whatever. So basically, I had this test set up. So this dragon head is going to be powered very simply by this clock. This is the clock that we've been using this entire time. And this dragon head is going to be powered with a simple redstone signal. You can see here the entire signal. This delay is only here so that these both go at the exact same time. And this one doesn't start early. So yeah, this goes right into the dragon head. So what's the test? Well, I'm going to stand here on these snow layers and then into this green background. And if these dragon heads get any off sync, that means one is faster than the other. If they're not, that means that the dragon heads go at the exact same speed, meaning that I am in fact correct, that the clock is so fast, it's the exact same thing as something being powered normally with a redstone signal, meaning that it is the fastest possible. Not even just in Minecraft, just in anything. It is the fastest possible clock, just in general, and not beyond Minecraft. So let's go ahead. I'm going to sit here for about 10 minutes, and we're just going to see if this ever goes off sync. So I'm going to activate this lever, and I'm basically just going to stand here. I'm going to put my sound down, and yeah, I'm going to time-lapse this, and you guys can see this for yourself. See if, you know, this is in fact what I think it is. Okay, so I lied. It's actually been about 30 minutes, and oh, would you look at that? The dragon head is perfectly in sync. So what does that mean? That means that I was right, that this clock is actually so fast. It's the same thing as a redstone line just being powered. I mean, look at it. It's perfectly in sync. There's absolutely no difference. So in a second, I'm about to show you guys all of the different little things about this clock, like exactly how fast it is, how much lag it causes, the different fails I've had and stuff like that. You're not going to want to skip that if you're actually planning on using this on a server, because, you know, servers can be really dependent on lag and other things like that. So if you guys actually want to know how to use this and stuff, you can skip to the end or just watch to the end, because I'm about to show you guys one last little invention, one last thing I can come up with for a use of this clock. Now, if you guys have any other uses for this clock, any ideas, you guys can say in the comments below. But this is the last use, and you can already see what this is. So sometimes you want to mess with people by making lots of noise in the game. Basically, every redstone clock has one of these. It's a noise maker. It can just be purely doors, it can be purely trapdoors, purely note blocks, but this has everything, and to make it worse, it's using the fastest possible clock. So, imagine this being underneath your base, or a friend's base, and you have to get rid of it before your ears start bleeding. Let's just... Turn down your volume now. Okay, well that was loud. And that was not bass boosted or amplified in any way. That was just that's actually how loud it is if you turn up the volume all the way up on Minecraft. That's yeah. Ow. Okay, so now we're gonna get into some of the useful stuff, like exactly how laggy this is and all that kind of stuff. So let's actually get rid of some lag by killing some bats. Okay, so I just cleared some lag by killing a bunch of entities, but we're about to get into some of the really good stuff, like, you know, exactly how fast it is, how much lag it causes. Now, first up, we're gonna see how much lag it causes, because, you know, if you want to put this on a server, you have to be really careful of how much lag there is, because if there's too much lag on a server, it's never good, you know. So you can see my FPS is around 80. It drops down to 70, maybe even like 78, 77. You know, you can see it's around 76 at the lowest. I'm going to power this. I'm going to activate this machine, and we're going to see how much it drops. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not much. I mean, maybe there's 1 or 2 frames of dropping, but it's really not bad. I mean, for how fast these pistons are moving, and don't even forget that I've been running this game for like an hour just looking at those dragon heads. So my game is kind of, yeah, it's a lot laggier than normal, but look at that. I mean, usually I have like 90 frames, but yeah, it's not that frame droppy. Yeah, 80 frames. I still have 80 frames. So yeah, that's really no frame drop, and that's pretty good. Now, I'm sure if you have a lot of these, it'll be pretty laggy, especially this machine right here. Very laggy, absolutely. I don't know, where are all these bats coming from? This is, they're causing lag. Okay, they're probably not, but yeah, this machine is very laggy. As you can see here, 80 FPS, 60 FPS, 40 FPS, 30 FPS, 20 FPS. Yeah, no. Yeah, just, no. No, don't. You have to be really careful of how to use this. So now I want to see exactly how fast this is, and then I'll show you guys exactly how to make it. In case you can't actually tell how to make it, which, I mean, it's only 8 blocks. It's really not that bad, but okay. I'm gonna try to find out exactly how fast it is. As you can see here, I have my CPS counter at the top right of the screen as well. Let's get a trapdoor. Oh, oops. Actually, let's not get a trapdoor. Let's get a fence gate. And basically, we're going to power this. Let's make sure we connect this up. And you can see the fence gate. Let me turn down the the block volume. You can see that this fence gate seems to be open, but if I try closing it, it's going to open right back up. So how is this useful? You see, faster I click, the more it seems closed, because that's just how it works. So if I can get it to where it always looks closed, that means that I've basically canceled out it being open. And so if I have a macro, so I'm going to get a macro, and I'm going to build my way up with the macro faster and faster, and basically whenever the fence gate looks to be closed, or like in between closed and open at all times, that means I basically, whatever the speed of the macro is, that's the speed of this machine. So okay, so I actually couldn't get my razor thing to work. I couldn't get my macro to work, so I just got an auto clicker instead, and I set it to exactly 10 clicks per second. So let's see what this looks like. As you can see, it's not exactly the same speed. You can see that the machine's actually faster than 10, you know, signals per second. So that is not the correct speed. Let's go up a little bit. So I moved the macro up to 15 clicks per second. Let's just look at this. You can see that it's still not fast enough. You know what that means? We're bringing out the 20 clicks per second. Alright, so I have it set to 20 clicks per second, and still not fast enough. Now, as we theorized, this should be 4 times as fast as this machine right here. So it should be approximately 40 clicks per second. So I'm just going to bump it right back up to 30. Not right back up, right up to 30. Let's do this. So I have my auto clicker set to 30 clicks per second, and oh, look at that. Still not fast enough. It's getting very close, though, as you can see. It almost looks like it's open and closed at the same time, but it's not quite. You can still see sometimes where it pauses and stuff. It's not there yet. It's definitely not there yet. So I've set the CPS, or the clicks per second, to 60. As close to 60 as I could get. I can't do decimals, and how it works is it's like milliseconds, like clicks every millisecond. So I can't actually get to exactly 60, but it's very close. Yeah, it's getting pretty close. You can only see every so often that it is cutting out. So let's go straight for, let's see, what else is there? Let's go for 80, because that's the theoretical amount. So, let's go for 80, because again, theoretically, this is 4 times faster than this, and then it's twice as fast after that because of these observers. So, I set it to 80. Let's go. That's it. That's the 80 clicks per second right there. I just realized you can't actually see. I'm using an auto clicker. It doesn't register the top right. This is a bad line. It's an anti-cheat client, so of course it's not going to register. But you can see it's very, very close. You see that's probably the closest we can get. There's a little bit of lag, but as you can see, it's very close. It's probably around. It's probably slightly higher than 80. And actually, I can't do decimals. So, it probably is exactly 80. I just can't, you know, I can't do that because I can't do, like, decimal amounts with my auto-clicker. I don't know why. I'm not an auto-clicker, man. I don't know any good auto-clickers. I just got the first one, so, I don't know. So, yeah, this test isn't entirely reliable, but what we do know is that's somewhat close to, like, 80 signals per second, and that's absolutely insane. Let me just turn this off. How do I turn it off? There we go. So yeah, that's insane. I mean, 80 signals a second. That's, I don't know. Now this test might not be reliable. I mean, of course, if there's any lag at all, this will be, you know, it's not as reliable, and also the actual test itself might not be as reliable. You guys can test this in any way you want to, or you can leave your ideas in the comments, as I said before. Now let's just get to the final things of, like, this machine and how to exactly make it. Let's just go right to it. So I might as well end the video here because I think you guys already see how to make this, but let's go step by step anyway. So we're actually going to go in survival, just so you guys know I'm not, like, cheating or something. I don't know. I think that, but yeah, so this is exactly the amount of resources you need. 5 of any block that's solid. 4 pistons, 8 observers, 8 redstone dust, and 1 lever. It's not terrible, but yeah, it should be pretty simple. So 1 piston facing up, it's pretty simple. I mean, I think you know what that means. 1 observer facing out of it. Make sure the little red dot is facing this away from the piston. Another piston. Observer facing out of that piston. Piston. Observer facing out of the piston. Piston. Observer facing out of the piston. It's very simple. There isn't really much to say. I might actually want to give myself a pickaxe because I might just want to do that. 1 second. Alright, so I give myself a pickaxe. We're gonna need this, so basically what we need to do now is we need to build up. We need to put an observer here, observer here, observer here, and an observer here. We're gonna go mine this back down because we don't actually want those to stay there. And then what we're gonna need to do is we're gonna need to place some blocks in between. Actually, we're not gonna do that first. We're gonna place block in the middle, block above. We're actually gonna destroy this observer so I can get to this block, place it back, and we're gonna put a lever right there. Now what we need to do, we need to place 4 blocks just like this, and we're basically done. So actually, we have one more step. Just make sure you activate this piston first, and then mine the lever, place it here, and then power it. Let me turn up my volume again because I did turn that off after my ears bled from that machine over there. But yeah, so now you just need to pull the lever again, and it's on. Now it's off. On, off, on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. Okay, so now there's one more step. As you can see, I do so much after creative and survival. I just flew up here. You guys can place blocks to get up here. So I guess you do need like 2 extra blocks, but yeah, you need to place redstone all around here, and then now you're done. So you can take any redstone line from the middle here and then put it into any machine. But yeah, this is it. As you can see, redstone works. If I go in creative again, I can put a piston up to it. Actually, not a piston. Let's put a fence gate up to it, and you'll see that, yeah, this is in fact the machine that's working. So you can see, you can hear it, and if I try closing it, it opens right back up. So yeah, very simple machine, very compact. I mean, look at how compact this is. It's only 3 by 3 by 4. That's how big it is. It causes almost no lag. I actually do have 60 frames, but I think that's because of how many bats there are. Let's kill up. Yeah, that's because of how many bats there are. I'm right back up to 80 frames per second, or 78, you know, whatever my normal frames is. There's really no lag at all. It's very small, very compact. Uh, Basically no resources. I mean, quartz might be a bit hard to get. Not these quartz, but like for the observers, you need quartz to craft the observers. It's pretty good. So yeah. What is this clock? It's the fastest possible clock. Also, it's the slowest possible clock because the redstone output it gives is it's just a hell of a redstone output, but it's also not. Because that makes sense. Yeah, this is the fastest possible. Not even Minecraft redstone clock. Just fastest possible clock, just in general, because the fastest clock is something being held, and that's what's going on here. So just forget Minecraft. This is the fastest clock, like just generally. All right, just forget every other aspect. Just the fastest clock. All right. So yeah, that's what this is. This video is about. There aren't that many uses because again, you can't measure it very well, but I'm sure you guys would come up with a lot of uses for it, so you guys can comment down below, or you can make your own videos or whatever about it. Test this in your world. It should work on any like coordinate or any chunk, because it's not like related to the Y value like it is with some other redstone things. And yeah, that's all this is. That's all this absolute monstrosity is about. It's this one very small clock, fastest possible clock. I've said that so many times, but it's insane. Around 80 signals a second. I mean, you can't get much better than that. I'd say so myself. I mean, you can't get better than that. That is the fastest possible. So, yeah, and it uses a paradox. I've already explained this, and thanks for watching. See you guys in the next redstone, or just really the next video that I make. See ya.